Did you ever think why Huawei started putting its branding on the side of the phone? They might want you to think of it as a camera rather than a phone when you hold it like that. Well, as long as it's a P series phone, I don't argue about that. Especially when it's this phone with all this camera stuff and most importantly this super zoom camera inside. You must think of this phone as a camera. Huawei P30 Pro is fully powered to do anything, whether it's just another regular task, gaming, or anything else. Right now, I'm not going to talk about this, but this, the camera. What's the best part of this phone is this periscope camera, or if I say telescope for a phone. It's always been difficult to fit a usable optical zoom lens in smartphones due to the laws of physics. They need more room in the body, and we once saw a phone like this and it failed. In this phone, Huawei has placed the image sensor vertically inside the phone, and the lens faces the sensor along the body, ending up at an angled mirror which is used to reflect the incoming light on the sensor through the longer wavelengths. That's an 8 megapixel telecamera with 5x optical zoom or 135 equivalent focal length. It is also optically stabilized. The phone offers to switch between 1x, 5x and 10x zoom options. I mean, just look at the framing options. Ultra wide angle, 5x optical zoom, 10 times closer with almost no loss of detail. That's a lot. That's really a lot this phone has to offer. The main camera comes with 40 megapixel RYYB sensor, unlike typical RGB sensors. This new kind of sensor should contribute 40% increased light, making it most suitable for low light conditions. Huawei calls it Super Spectrum camera. The 27mm equivalent lens is optically stabilized and comes with a large f1.6 aperture. One outstanding factor of this camera is that it can boost the ISO sensitivity up to 409,600. That too with impressive noise handling. The camera handles the exposure very well in extremely low light conditions. Take a look at this shot for example. The noise handling in darker part is pretty impressive, while the lit area is properly exposed as well. This camera can see in the most dark environments where even you can't see anything. With auto mode, the camera uses the highest ISO sensitivity and produces the image like this. That's not really an appealing image, but it indeed proves how much light sensitive this camera is. Truly stunning. The next we have a 20 megapixel camera with 16mm equivalent ultra wide angle lens. We have seen even wider angle lenses on smartphones like 12 or 13mm equivalent, but this camera has a phase detect autofocus sensor behind. Most other high-end phones have a fixed focus camera for this purpose. If I go through my gallery, this one was shot in cloudy day with low light. This ultra wide angle camera can also take super macro shots at a mere distance of 2.5 centimeters. That's really close and sharp. And I didn't know this speaker had those tiny little dots around the grill holes. I still cannot see those dots. Wow. Now that's the time of flight sensor, dedicated for 3D depth mapping to give you the best portrait shots. In my experience, I haven't seen any better smartphone camera that would isolate subject from the background as impressively as this P30 Pro. Edge detection has improved significantly. Not flawless, but best in smartphone cameras. The portrait mode only works with human subjects. You can change the type of background blur, but not the strength of it. Well, beauty mode is there to fix some facial elements. There's also an aperture mode that works with any subject. You can even adjust the f-stop or aperture value, and that works equally fine as portrait mode. The best part is, you can also use background blur on videos. Not as good as photos, but you won't feel anything bad about it either. This also shows how powerful AI Huawei has developed for this kind of stuff. The 5x zoom option will engage in the 8 megapixel telecamera, while the 10x zoom will use the image data combined from both the telecamera and the main super resolution camera. You can further go up to 50x zoom, but beyond 10x, it's a digital zoom. The further you go, more the image detail you lose. But 10x zoom is indeed choosable. This is the 100% crop from 10x zoom image and it's pretty amazing. This camera app totally runs around AI. It knows when to use which camera, as all of the 4 cameras have their limitations, such as different aperture level and focus distance. The telephoto camera won't engage in low light, or if the subject is nearer than 1.7 meters. You will still be able to use 5x zoom level, but the system will use main camera for it with simply digital zoom. You still can use 10x zoom with telecam in low light, as it works along with main camera. It can gather some light and produce a little to use photograph, but it won't focus a subject closer than 1.7 meters. The good thing is you can use all zoom levels in night mode and video mode, but in some cases I would stick with photo mode as it produces more natural contrast with highlights and shadows. Exposure handling seems fine across all situations and saturation level is much controlled, unlike mostly we have seen in Huawei smartphones previously. Dynamic range is also good. Look at this image detail. I mean, it's really impressive. What about a 5x optical zoom? I don't think there is a need of 10x zoom, here at least. The famous trade center in Lahore behind that overhead bridge, what you see beyond that is the clear sky which is not blue. I like the fact that P30 Pro didn't go crazy on it trying to turn it into really blue, because that's what it looked like in real time. Again, the image detail is really good with impressive noise handling. P30 Pro also gives the option to record videos with 2 cameras at once. That's dual view. I tried it and it's pretty useful. It's fun and quite productive to tell a story. Ultra wide angle camera feeds the one view, while the main camera records the second view with the option to zoom between 2x, 3x and 5x. 4K video recording is supported, but frame rate is limited to 30 fps. But you can use 60 fps with 1080p or 720p video resolutions. All resolutions offer to switch between ultra and zoom cameras in addition to main camera, but the optical stabilization is only available with the main and telephoto camera, and it's really good. Since the system uses both electronic and optical stabilization to make it really good, hence the ultra wide angle camera still gets to use the electronic one. To be frank, it's also good. Autofocus is fast to lock and maintain tracking even with complex scene changes. Noise and exposure handling is appreciable, and color rendering is also accurate. I tried to bring everything from the P30 Pro's camera in this video. If you liked the video, hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for future updates. I will also share some tips to use P30 Pro's camera's hidden or complicated features, so make sure you subscribe to this channel to get notified about that. I'll be sharing some sample shots from this phone on my social media handles. If you want to see that, do follow me on Instagram. The links to my social handles are given below. Take care.